Hello, ladies, and welcome back to Get 'em Girl, a girl's guide to relationships, femininity, dating, polarity, and attraction. Okay, ladies, so I have a talk for y'all today. I want you to imagine this. There are two women, same demographics, same background, similar upbringings, similar situations and status in life. However, lady number one, she spends a lot of her time when studying for relationships, watching videos on how to identify narcissists, how to identify if a man is lying to you, how to identify if he's unserious, how to identify if he's not a good guy. She spends her time taking in that kind of content, right? However, lady number two, same demographics, she spends her time studying topics related to her femininity. She spends her time identifying the traits and the quality of the men that she does want. She spends her time making sure that whatever she's working on within herself can cultivate a relationship with the kind of man she wants. She's watching a different kind of content. She's taking in a different kind of content. And they both watch the same amount of this content. They both watch the same amount and take in the same amount of information on their respective topics. I want you to really sit down and think about what each lady is going to be really good at. What will they have mastered? I want you to think about that for a second. Because what I can tell you is, lady number one, she has dedicated her focus to being able to identify the kind of men that she doesn't want. She can spot them a mile away. She knows exactly what it looks like. She knows their traits. She knows the signs of a narcissist. She knows that these are the kind of men she does not want, and it does not take her much time to identify them. She knows that. But she has not spent any time narrowing down the traits that she does want. She has not spent the time studying the kind of man that she does want and making sure she's the type of woman that matches that kind of man. She hasn't spent any time on that, just identifying the kind of man that she doesn't want. I want you to think about what that looks like in the real world. So this woman in a public setting, there's men she doesn't want around, and then there's men that she very well may want around, right? Well, because of her focus, because of what she's dedicated her time to and her focus to, she's going to spend so much time identifying the men that she don't want. I don't want him because this, he too this, he too that, he too this. And she's going to be so busy doing that she won't really know about the men that may actually fit her. And it goes a step further, ladies, because that leaves room for her when she's introduced to a man who may not on the surface necessarily look like the narcissist that she studied. She's looking at this guy and he don't necessarily look like he's lying to her and all those kind of things. Okay, well, she's going to give this man the time of day based off of, he has money. Oh no, he's got money. Like he looked like he's, busy and he got money. I'm going to give it a go. Because on the surface, he doesn't look like those narcissists that she studied. But she hadn't studied what she wanted. She just know that he don't look like them. And so she's giving him her time of day. Okay, but lady number two in this situation, in a room full of men that she doesn't want and wants, she's able to bypass the men that she doesn't want because the focus hasn't even been there. Her focus has been on understanding the qualities of the man she does want and being able to cultivate a relationship with that kind of man and her femininity. And so now she gets approached by a man with money. She gets approached by a man who doesn't look like a narcissist and all of these different things. He looks like a man with money. He has these qualities that she likes. Which one do you think is better, first of all, going to be able to identify that this man has the qualities of a masculine provider? who's going to be better to cultivate a relationship with this man based off of what they studied. Because I'll tell you one thing, lady number one, if a man has money and he seems like he's on his stuff and all that kind of stuff, she's going to be like, oh yeah, great, whatever. Lady number two, however, because she's studied and understand the traits of a masculine provider, him having money is, great, amazing. However, that's just the first step. A lady who's actually studied this man is going to realize just because he's rich does not mean he's generous. Lady number two is going to realize that being a man that has money is just the first step. But let's see if you're a generous man on top of that. Because if you have money but you're not generous, you can't do anything for me. Lady number one isn't necessarily going to know that. Do you get what I'm saying, ladies? This is why it's important to be careful of the content that you're taking in. Because you can't get the man that you want and identify the qualities of the man you really want by focusing on the psyche of the man that you don't want. That's not how it works. You can't pass an algebra exam by studying sociology. Okay? You can't study all about the men you don't want. You can't study all about their psyche and why they're the way they are and how to identify them and all that kind of stuff. And then think that by doing that is gravitating you towards the man that you do want. No, you're just really good. You're going to be really great at turning down men, but your picker is going to be off. You're going to be amazing at being like, nope, don't want him. You're going to know who to turn down. As long as they look like these different things, these narcissists and liars, and as long as they look like that, you're going to know who to turn down. But you're not going to actually know who to cultivate with. That picker is going to be off. So you need to study for the specific man that you want. Stop studying for the man you don't want. You don't want him. All you need to do is know the qualities that you do want, and whoever don't fit those can fall out of line. Okay, you don't need to know why they don't fit it, what made them not fit it, what's wrong with their mind to make them that. You don't have to know all of that. All you need to know is, boom, I want a masculine provider. He's going to be generous. He's going to be this, and this. And whoever don't fit this specific prototype right here, whoever don't fit these qualities that are must-haves for me, they can all fall out of line. I don't need to know why they don't fit it. I just need to know that they don't. Just as good as you are at identifying a man that you don't want, just like you can spot that a mile away, just like you can turn that down, no problem, you need to be just as good, if not better, at identifying the men that you do want. You need to be just as good. If you can look over and spot from a mile away, he's a narcissist, I don't like it, boom, get him out the way. You need to be just as good at identifying, oh, this man, he said this, he's generous, he's working on this, he's interested in my time, he's trying to make time, he has good conversation. You need to be able to identify just as well the kind of men who are fitting what you want. Time out for saying my picker is off, but you watching all these videos on how to identify a narcissist and all this stuff. Time out for your picker being off, but you know exactly what it looks like for a man to not be what you want. Like, you know that to a T. So you need to know the man that you do want to a T. Study him. And then this is what I want you to do. First of all, identify the kind of man you want. Most women on this channel, they want a masculine provider. I want you to go through and figure out the traits of that kind of man. Figure out his traits, what he likes, what he doesn't like. Figure out the kind of woman that he would be with. Figure out the different aspects of what a lifestyle that he leads would be. Okay? Figure all that out. And then what I want you to do is let that be your mirror. Turn it around on you. Okay, so for example, if you want a man who is very generous to you, if you want him to be very generous to you, where you for doggone sure better know how to show some gratitude and some appreciation. If you want a man who's generous, you do not need to be a woman who don't know how to say thank you. You do not need to be a woman who don't like the idea of showing some appreciation. You need to be a woman whose reward system is intact. Don't be asking for a generous man just for you to be unappreciative to him, and then you actually damage his generosity. Do you get what I'm saying, ladies? So once you identify these traits of this man that you do want, mirror it back to yourself and make sure you're the kind of woman who can even help uphold those traits and cultivate those traits in him. Okay? Do you get what I'm saying, ladies? You want a generous man, but you unappreciative. You want a generous man, but you don't know how to actually show him some gratitude. You want a man who shows acts of service, but you're a woman who glaze over him and fuss at him as if he didn't do all the other things when he has done the thing. You want a man who does acts of service, but you don't even identify him when he does them. Take the traits that you want in the man that you say you want and flip them around on yourself to make sure that you can actually cultivate those traits in him. Don't ask for those things and then be the woman who damages those things in him. Do you get what I'm saying, ladies? Don't be a woman who's like, I want a man who's honest. I want a man who's going to be upfront, who just says what it is. And then be the kind of woman who, when he's being honest, your trust is so broken that you constantly accuse him of lying to where he'd be like, well, I might as well lie. Be able to cultivate whatever it is that you're asking for in a person. That's what your time should be going to. Okay? And you do that by working on your femininity. You do that by working on those different things that may be lacking in you right now and bringing those up so you can cultivate the goodness in a man that comes to you. Taking in better content. Stop with all that negative stuff. Taking in content that's going to inform you of the things that you do want out of life. Getting new experiences. Work on your trust. Work on learning who to give your trust to. Work on all of these things so that when a man shows up with the qualities that you want, for one, you can identify him. And then make sure that you yourself have the traits that cultivate that in him and make it to where he gets better and better at it. So you want a man who's generous and your reward system is on point and you will show him gratitude and fall out and be giddy and excited and grateful to him for whatever it is he does. You better believe he's going to do it more. Be that kind of woman. Work on those things. Fix those traits. Okay, so this isn't even to tell you to just study the man that you want alone. This is telling you to study and identify the man that you do want, study his traits and all of those kind of things, but then turn around and do some inner work so that you're even able to be with a man like that and cultivate that in him more. Turn around and start working on yourself based off of those traits. Turn around and make yourself into that kind of woman that you know that he probably should be with. You become her. Do you get what I'm saying, ladies? I do not want y'all so laser focused in on learning everything there is to learn about the men that you don't want. If you're doing that, your focus is in the wrong place. If you find yourself being able to look at a man and identify what you don't want, but you don't know how to look at a man and identify that he's actually a good brother and you ain't got to damage him and all these different things, then you probably have a bad picker and you need to fix it, because that's only an excuse for so long because the information is out here. You're choosing what information to take in. It's confirmation bias. So by the time you finish learning all these things about low down dirty men and all of this kind of stuff, all you're going to be able to do is identify low down dirty men. You don't even know the true qualities of the man that you really want and the kind of woman he wants because you're so busy focused on the ones that you don't. Change your focus. Pay attention to the content that you're taking in. And I'm not saying that there's anything just wrong with understanding signs of a narcissist. Base level, it's okay to know that. But honestly, experience, past relationships, all of that kind of stuff teaches us what kind of men we don't want. We don't really have to put so much focus into that because a lot of our past teaches us, okay, well, I was in this relationship, all these things happened. I know I don't want that. Okay, so a lot of experiences show us what we don't want. It doesn't hurt to get a video or two in just to be able to identify maybe if there's something that you have overlooked that you don't want, but then get back out of that. Because just as much as you have that kind of information, you need even more information about what you do want. Focus more on what you do want. You know what you don't want. You don't got to study them no more. Start to study and understand and get in the crevices of the things that you do want so that when you go to start working on yourself, you know where to start working. Okay, you want a generous man, you need to be an appreciative woman. I'm not that right now. Okay, well, if I want him to be generous, I need to be appreciative. Let me start working on that. Okay, so you know where to start working. And then you can start to evolve into the kind of woman that can cultivate a relationship with the man that you want. Stop wanting the man that you want to come along right now. And then once he get there, all you're going to do is damage it. Okay, don't fumble the bag. You asking for him, you praying to God for him to come right now, but you don't even know how to uphold and cultivate a relationship with this kind of man. If this man came to you today, you're going to fumble it. Work on these things that are going to get you to the actual goal, which is the kind of man that you want. But you get that kind of man by becoming the kind of woman he wants. Let's just make it plain and simple. There's a certain kind of man that you want. Okay, become the certain kind of woman that he wants then. If we want to just make it plain, do that. Okay? Now, I want to tell you, be the kind of woman that you envision in your head and all this kind of stuff. If you are really heavily wanting marriage, if you're really heavily wanting to get engaged and be in a relationship, and you find yourself thinking about that thing all the time, and it is a major focus for you, you need to sit down, identify the kind of person that you want to be married to, and become the kind of woman that he wants then. If it is that important to you, do that. Okay, ladies? Do that. And what you'll find is you'll feel like you're focused on the man, but what it really is, you're working on yourself. You're working on your traits. You're working on your things, and it attracts the man. Okay? So I just wanted to come in and drop that nugget on you because I have seen a very high uptick of women coming to me. My picker is off. Your picker is off because you're so busy knowing the kind of man that you don't want that you haven't studied the one that you do. So let's work on that. Okay? So I don't want to take up too much more of y'all's time. I want to thank you again for tuning in to another episode of Get 'em Girl. I hope that I broke this down and made it plain for you, okay? But all in all, thank you ladies for watching. Leave me some video ideas or some suggestions down below. I have seen a couple from the previous couple videos, so I'm going to go ahead and get to working on those. And I will see y'all next time. Bye.